Good morning, hi, welcome back to the Detailing Studio. Project MX5 is nearing completion now. So what I've had to do at this stage is I've got a colleague in, socially distanced, I'm glad to say, and he's going to be filming this for me whilst I do the ceramic application. So if you've been following the project, you've seen everything so far from the decontamination through to the machine work, through to this point now where we're just about to apply some ceramics. Before we start that, what I'd like to do is I want to get rid of some of the myths regarding ceramic coatings. I'm not going to go into the technical details of how ceramic works and things like that. All the details are out there on any of the search platforms if you want to go ahead and look at the details. However, it's the end result to me which is the important bit about using the ceramic coating. I have a lot of pride in my work, and to me it's pointless in putting a ceramic coating on a car that has not been prepared properly. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it properly. There are numerous companies out there who charge smaller amounts of money for ceramic coating, and the results are you will get a car back that has not been machined properly. So the ceramic is just going to be sitting on top of it, on top of all of the incorrected detail. So as you know, we have gone to great depths to remove any of those incorrections with this particular car. So no further ado, let's show you what the ceramic's about. So here I have a typical ceramic coating. I'm not going to show you what the product is at this particular point, and I have an applicator. It's as simple as this to actually apply. So the panel here is quite a large door. We'll break the panel down into basically 3 sections. Now you can some of these come with a pipette. This one does, but for purposes of the video it's a lot easier for me. So what I do is I just put a few drops on here. There's enough there. Now this is a suede applicator pad that's sitting on top of a sponge backing pad. There's enough there for doing all of this door. And all I'm going to do is do horizontal stripes on 1/3 of the door. And all you're doing is just making sure that every time you put the sponge back on and the applicator back on the door, you're obviously overlapping the section you've done before. Right, I'll go back to the top. I'll just finish this off. You can do the handles. You can do inside. I'll do that in a second. I'll actually go inside the handle recess. And I'll go right up to the top. And all I'm going to do now is just smooth any sections in there out. Now, depending on the product you're putting on and applying, will depend on the consistency of the actual ceramics. Some are thicker than others, some are very, very watery, some are very, very gloopy. This one is a really nice, simple to use product. And now what I'm going to do is I'm waiting for a period of time for this to flash off. And if you're standing here and actually watching it, the flashing off process can take 30 seconds to a couple of minutes, depending on also the atmospherics, etc. This one is in obviously the detailing studio, so it's a nice temperature in here. We've got the extraction systems on, so the fumes are going away, and this is starting to go already. But I'm going to leave that now because let that one just cure a little bit further. I'm going to do another panel here, and then I'm going to go back and buff this one. Okay, so we've let that flash off now for a good 5 minutes. The only issue we have got is when I put that on a moment ago, got a little bit carried away. There was enough ceramic on that pad to have done that door twice. But obviously from purposes like now, we're just trying to explain to you how this works. So it has gone on a little bit thicker than I would normally use, but hey, it's just more protection at the end of the day, isn't it? So what we're going to do now, I'm happy with that, that's flashed off. I'm going to use 2 microfibers. The first microfiber is just to take any excess off. So these are real plush microfibers, polishing cloths. You can use a much shorter pile, however I think they get glooped up too quick and I don't like using them, so hence the thicker cloth. And all I'm going to do is just wipe off any excess. I'm not going to go around in circles or anything, I'm just going to literally just wipe off from side to side. And just do the whole panel. And I can feel the cloth removing any excess, and it's becoming easier to move across the panel. Okay, I'm happy with that aspect, so I'm going to take another plush microfiber, this one being a buffing towel, and all I'm going to do is now buff that panel. And when you're standing in front of it, you might not be able to see it so clearly on the video, but if you're standing in front of it from where I am, I can see any smears just disappearing. By looking into the light, the fortunate thing is, being in the actual studio, obviously we've got lighting in all the correct places, so it doesn't matter what angle either I'm standing at or I'm looking into the panel, there's always going to be one light that's reflecting off of it and showing me where any of the smear marks are. That's basically it, simple as that. Now that panel, in the right circumstances, will take around about 2 to 3 hours to partially cure, 12 hours to cure fully unaided, and if you put it under an infrared, we'll probably get it down to about 4 hours properly. With the ceramic, you can take the vehicle outside and water will not affect on it as long as it's been polished off. However, if we can keep it indoors, obviously we can in this circumstance, and let it cure overnight inside the actual studio, the actual glaze is going to, the ceramic is going to glaze off properly, it's going to harden, and then you're going to get that much deeper reflection. And this is something else that happens, which is very, very strange with ceramics. And when you first do it, you think to yourself, okay, yeah, it's got a ceramic coating on it. You leave that for 12 hours and you come back and look at that same panel, and all of a sudden the panel has got a much deeper perspective on it. The actual paintwork looks so much deeper, the shine looks deeper, and that's one of the lovely things that I like working with ceramic coating. So hopefully that has alleviated some of the questions that people may ask about ceramics. We're going to actually go back now, and we are, over the next 2 days, I'm going to multi-layer this. I've already done the back of the vehicle with 2 layers, and I'm going to continue working my way forward. So today I'm just going to continue with a single layer across all the rest of the panels, leave that, and then 12 hours later I'm going to repeat the process, and I'm actually going to do this with 3 coatings. I'm doing it for no other reason apart from I can. That's about it. So when you see it next, the wheels will be back on, the side skirts will be back on, and hopefully it'll be ready to drive. Thanks for watching.